I am stop and go in your eyes. Hello everyone, it's Charlton. Please subscribe to my channel, tap the notification bell, and like this video. That helps me to keep making videos, and I would appreciate it majorly. So I want to just kind of very quickly go over this article about Giuliani meeting with the Ukrainian official. I don't exactly know what his capacity was. I think he was a prosecutor. His name's Andrei Teleshenko, and he had previously claimed that the DNC and others within um, the Hillary campaign had tried to get the Ukrainians to release damaging information about Paul Manafort during the 2016 election. There's other elements to that I'm not going to go into right here. And actually, the broader point I want to make that isn't even specifically related to this article here is something that occurred to me today, and it's right there. I mean, if you see my channel, you know I think that I believe that Hillary Clinton lost the election on purpose. I definitely believe that, and I believe it has to do with those emails, man, the 30,000 emails. It's the craziest situation. I actually think that this 2016, it's very possible that both candidates were corrupted. It's where you had one candidate who is basically owned by Russia because they have her emails and whatever that's in those damn emails, and then the other candidate basically has those emails too because it was given to Trump by Russia, and holds it against that other candidate, but he's corrupted too by Russia. So they're both corrupted by Russia. It's just madness. So the broader point I wanted to make is that it never occurred to me that, I do think that the FBI, the Justice Department, was surveilling Trump, even beyond, way beyond the summer of 2016, not just during, the general election or the later stages of the primary, but maybe even into 2015. And I think basically what led them to Trump was the Hillary Clinton email investigation. That's when they began surveilling Trump, is because they picked him up while they were investigating her, her emails, not her. I actually think if you can just step back from it for a second, I'll go over some of this article about Giuliani meeting with the Ukrainian. There's very little detail to it, but this is the point I want to make. It just never occurred to me before. If you step back from it for a second, you know, and I'm not going to defend like Page and Strzok, but I actually think that Strzok, was part of the Mueller investigation early on, not because he was this big booster for Hillary, but because he was, he was led to Trump because when investigating the Hillary emails, not Hillary, and not because he was a pro Hillary person, but it was about the emails. That's why that's why the FBI started investigating, surveilling Trump. And it just kind of proves, if that's true, that Trump had her emails. And if he did, that's why this happened. That's why Hillary got absolutely destroyed in 2016. And this is not going to happen in 2020. It's not. Okay? Even if Biden loses, and he very well may, but he may win. Okay? It's going to be close. It's going to be very close against an incumbent. Trump's an incumbent now with a raging economy, and you're going to have a very close election, in my opinion, and Biden still may even win. But Hillary absolutely gets slaughtered, okay? When Trump is a laughingstock mostly to the country, other than his core supporters, where people thought he was a joke, and he didn't have a prayer, and she gets destroyed. My dog could have done better. Peanut 2020. It'll be a miracle if I upload this, but I mean that really never occurred to me, and I don't know why anybody else has not realized that what I think led And I think Trump's bluffing. I do. I don't think he's not. Well, he's in control, so he's not gonna declassify too much because he could end up he would never do that naturally, and the Attorney General Barr is not going to declassify stuff that's going to prove that what led the Justice Department to Trump was when they were investigating Hillary's emails. That's how they picked up his trail and started surveilling him, probably illegally initially, and that's why they can't put it out there. It's very possible that Strzok and Strzok and other members of the FBI, were listening to conversations, were accessing information that they weren't supposed to. But because they stumbled upon Trump when they were investigating Hillary's emails, and they came to learn that Trump had them, and he got them from the Russians, just like the Russians have them. That's what I think, man. So, I mean, this is insignificant. I think this doesn't mean anything. This is just more nonsense. So Giuliani confirmed to a paper that he met with this Ukrainian Andrei Teleshenko, who the Post reported made unproven claims that the Democratic National Committee worked with the Kiev government in 2016 to obtain damaging information on Trump's former campaign chairman, Paul Manafort. I can tell you a thing about the meeting, Giuliani told the Post. I can't tell you a thing about the meeting. When I have something to say, I'll say it, which is, just a way of being whatever, sort of a jerk off. But Teleshenko also confirmed that with a brief comment saying they spoke on U.S.-Ukraine relations and politics in D.C. and Ukraine. The newly revealed meeting comes amid Giuliani's recent efforts to push investigations in Ukraine into matters including the DNC and former Vice President Joe Biden's son, Hunter, who served on the board of a Ukrainian gas producer while his father was in office. Ukraine's top prosecutor said there was no need for an investigation into Biden or his son, and the DNC has denied the claims. There was this other story, and I've talked about this, and this was so interesting, and it never, I didn't even process at the time that I made the video. And maybe I'll just end this video here after making this point. My most important point was about the emails. That's what led the Justice Department to Trump. That's why they started surveilling him, probably illegally, is during the Clinton email investigations, which just validates my theory that Trump had her emails, was given to him by the Russians, and because of that, Hillary Clinton lost the election on purpose, and this happened. But this report about the Prescott Police Department, a rental car being dropped off in the middle of the night, supposedly by him, actually, and I did my video incorrectly. He dropped it, according to the story, he dropped the car off himself and then had somebody else call in and say that he wasn't feeling well and tell them where he put the car and stuff like that. And it supposedly had his it had his wallet and his IDs, his credit cards, his attorney general's badge from Delaware, and there was a crack pipe in the car. There was no fingerprints on the car, and it was tested for cocaine. Somebody was smoking cocaine out of it, whatever. And that was October 28th, 2016. The election was on the 6th of November. That's 8 days before the election, okay? For somebody who's the son of the former vice president who had dealings in Ukraine and quite likely upon the results of the election might actually be suspicious of the results because of his knowledge of some of Trump's people and their dealings in Ukraine. And yet this police report, this incident happened 8 days before the election that maybe could be held over. It's just the timing of it is so strange. And it never, nothing ever gets pursued of it. It's just so peculiar. And Biden was not running for office, but his son would probably be very suspicious of the results, once they came out, in my opinion. Just another piece of the puzzle that seems to fit my theory. And that's the story there. Another terrible, messy video. But I've tried, this is like 15 times I've done this one. That's it. That's the story there, man. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below. I'll see you in the next video. Later, man.